Welcome, paper crafting friends, to the December Stories video. I'm going to do an overview of some of the projects that I've done in the past, what I'm going to do for this year, what my intention is, and let's have a fun look at stories and my non-daily approach. And as you can see, I've done every size, 6 by 8, 7 by 10, traveler's notebooks. Somewhere I think I have a 12 by 12 or like a Project Life that was 9 by 12, but I didn't go back further than 2020, and that's this album. So I'm going to start here. Let me just move these to the side, and we're going to start with this album. This album, I love this album. This is beautiful. This was from Felicity Jane, which no longer exists. But she manufactured some beautiful 6 by 8 albums. And this is the first album that I picked out of all my projects. This is one of my favorite albums. This is 2020 and 2021. So in 2020, I came back to scrapbooking after being out for maybe 3 years or so. And I think December Daily was one of the first projects that I did. So this is my intro page, and I love this, A Thrill of Hope. This die cut is by Laura, and I started there. That's where I started the whole design. And then I thought about the world and 2020 and everything that it brought, and that's why I did the world map right underneath her. As soon as I saw the wreath, I'm like, that's the perfect O. And then I went into my stash and found some really old thickers that were the right size. And that's how I built that one. So that's my 2020 calendar and my intro. Really peaceful looking and soft. Then here is some of the stories about my childhood. This was our first year in the house that we currently live in right now, and so I wanted to highlight that. So that's what some of the stories are about. And then the art is, this is made out of a steel die. I've had this forever. It's from Concord and Ninth, and I love these kind of textured wreaths. Let me see if I bring it up, if you can see it a little bit better, but it's white on white, so it's hard to see, but it's one of my favorite things to do is white on white, steel dies and die cuts. And I did this 5 by 7 of Christmas Eve night, my family. And then next is my Christmas wish list for that year. I hope to repeat this year because my wishes change year after year. This is so based in 2020 and everything that was going on. So I love the idea of repeating this for 2024. And then I just paired it up with a lot of wood grains. So 3 different types of wood grain. These stars were from Michaels that year. I had picked them up, or maybe the year before. So they're pretty old. And I like changing up sizes. So you're going to see this 5 by 7 and then a 6 by 8. And then this is a file folder that I have had forever. And I just dressed it up with an acrylic. That came off. Okay. Things that happen during filming. All right. I got to glue that down better. But sorry, I had to glue that because that was like throwing me off. And I may not get back to this album again. So hopefully that'll stay. But see, things that happen during filming, kind of funny. All right, so this is my file folder, and then a little bit of story about Christmas and home and decorations with a bunch of pictures of my house. And I created this pocket. This one page, yep. This is one of my favorite Christmas pictures from that year. Nico's so little there. So I enlarged it and then did some journaling right inside of the picture, repeated these stickers that I probably had on my desk from the intro page. And it's like just enough right there to like sort of draw your eye to us and to the words. More Christmas memories. That's maybe like a 3 by 8. And it's backed by a strip of pictures. These are all Christmas Eve and Christmas morning of my family. And then this one I created in Photoshop. So what I wanted was something that told the story of what we eat on Christmas Eve. So for my family, it's very Cuban and Puerto Rican based, lechon, pasteles, arroz con gandules, tostones. These are the things that we eat. So you can translate this idea to your part of the country, world, United States. whatever your traditional Christmas Eve, Christmas Day foods are, I think this is an interesting way, an impactful way to list those things. And it's just white letters on black. Although printing this out, you're going to use a lot of black ink. So just heads up about that. And here's an old picture. Here's a throwback picture of Nico from 2009. He was so little there with his cookies from Santa Claus. And I do that a lot. So I go from present to past. I don't like the idea of daily stories. It's just not for me. I am going to try it one year. I don't know which year, but one day I am going to try it. This one is, I love this one. I created this map of the different Christmas tree farms that we have visited over the last 15 years that we've lived in this town. So we started at Simonson's, then we went to A&M Farms, and a little blurb about why we kept moving to different farms, and then to Home Depot in 2020 because there were no trees to be found. So it's a little, now that I'm looking at it, it's a little bit too much white, I think. I would do this differently today. I like the icons, I like the map, but there's a little too much white here. I do love this little walk down memory lane though. This is the first year we got Lucy. Nico is, I don't know, maybe 2 years old with my dad there. That's when we used to go to A&M Farms. I love that memory. Nico, old enough, maybe 6 or 7, old enough to help with cutting down our tree. And then in 2020, when the little tree grew taller than the mom. This one is all about decor. I did this one for Carrie Bradford, and I think the point of this was definitely these title stamps. I wanted to use them in a very different way other than as a title or as a subtitle. So I thought, oh, little strips of paper, hanging paper would be cute. Then I got into the paper weaving thing, and I like how this came out. It very much matches the mood of one of my favorite pieces of decor from that year. Now this moves into 2021. This is one of my favorite all times. This is when I started to do the banners. So this little banner, you see banners for Christmas, you've seen them for Valentine's Day. I think I've done them for Halloween, October Daily as well, but this was the original. And I don't even remember where I got this idea from. I think from seeing something like this in Target. So what I did was I took a digital file, this is from In a Creative Bubble, of a 3x4 journaling card, and I printed it on canvas. So there is printable canvas for inkjet printers, and I love the texture of this. It's really pretty. Let me see if I bring it up, you can see a little bit better. But I love that mixture of paper and really super textured things. And then I did my journaling in there and printed it out. And I created this with the matchsticks. There are other videos I'll link up down below if you want to see how that was created. I think I have this on Instagram as well. And then just a little bookshelf, very similar to something that I have actually in my craft room. And then here you see, this is in 2021. 2021, yep, December of 2021 is a little few more banners because I figured if one big banner is cool, then let's make a whole lot of little banners. And that's what I did here. And I love the way this looks. And a picture of one of my favorite cups. And then the last one is the pockets. So this was the year that I had made the pumpkins. They were circular pockets for October Daily, and I filled them very similar to this. And I just followed the same idea. So the star is a steel die, and I cut them out of white cardstock. Again, white on white is one of my favorite things. And then I just filled the pockets with things that I had. This one was made with page protector. So I'm going to flip this up because everything in that pocket is actually glued down. So it's a clear pocket. Let me bring this one up too. It is actually a clear pocket. I could probably put a little more glue there, but yeah, and I filled it up with lots of little things that I had in my stash, and I just like that texture and color. And this story was about my tree in the kitchen. 2020, I think I went a little nuts and I started buying Christmas trees and decorating them because I didn't know what to do with myself. And yeah, that's one of the trees in the kitchen. And it has a prosciutto, which you have to have if you're married to an Italian. All right, so there we go. That was 2020. And then let me bring out some of my other favorite projects. These were created in 2022. Again, created in 2022, that doesn't mean that all of these stories are from 2022. So I started with this 6x8 album. I think this is the year that the album prices jumped up into the $30 range, and I just didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to look for the page protectors. Just wanted to go in a different direction. So I said, I'm going to make my own album. And that's what I did. This is a printable by Ali Edwards. I love this print. So pretty. And I bought these gold rings off of Amazon, probably 3-hole punched. And I'm really happy with this album. The only thing that worries me is that I keep this in a special little box because I'm afraid that it's going to get squashed or that it's not going to hold up really well because it's not protected and it has so many dimensional things on the cover. To create the cover, I started with this felt pocket. This is Ali Edwards, and then filled it with a little wooden house from Ali that year. This is from Tim Holtz. I'm still using these candy canes. I love those. And just textured things. So a snowflake that has glitter on it that gives us that little nice background of white on white again. And then this is a steel die that I used to make the white wreaths here in green. All right. All right, so our opening page, this is the first story that I told. I think I started to do this one on a daily basis. I started on December 2nd. I missed the first already. I should have known right there. I should have known to just put the project away, but I didn't. I tried. So I did the entrance to our home. So the entrance to the book, the entrance to our home, and a view that I love. And then here are a bunch of little story. My favorite reindeers are up and all the trees are full of twinkling lights. That's the best part. Let's see what this one has. I know that I did these in Photoshop on photo paper. So I made little red boxes and then just did the text in white so that it wouldn't be so much white. I wanted to break it up a little bit. This is about decking the halls. And then there's a third one here, and how I'm taking it slow and really appreciating being at home that year. This one has a picture, decor picture. You know, I don't know what I'm going to find in some of these. More decor pictures, of course. And the kitchen tree. So deck the halls. And these were my halls all decked up, I guess you could say. I created these with Carrie Bradford stamps. This was a project that I did for her. I love the little icons with the eyes, the Frosty, the Rudolph, and the Santa. It's my favorite part of this whole thing. And then the rest I just decorated with things from my stash. This one was about baking. I started baking with neighbors. They started the first cookie exchange that I was a part of. This was so much fun, and we still do it to this day. But this was my first year. I was a little nervous about how my cookies were going to come out, but they came out pretty good. And this was me baking, and I love these gingerbread letters from Paper Person Shop. I don't know where these puffy stickers are from, but I've done this before where I've done the icons just lined up, three little lines of icons. I don't know, I love linear things, but that are detailed and colorful as well. And that was my design idea. Here is a piece of vellum, and I just took some pinking shears to give it a little bit of texture. And I love the baker's twine. I know baker's twine was so popular years ago in scrapbooking, memory keeping. But this one really went with it because I actually did use baker's twine to wrap up my boxes. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's also a tiny little silver charm that reminds me of a cookie cutter right there. So fun little detail. I like that page. That's one of my favorites in this book, I think. This one is about, we went to this is the Philadelphia Zoo. And I love this tree made out of plastic flamingos. They have no animals out at the Philadelphia Zoo during Christmas for their late show, which the boys were very disappointed about. But they have some amazing, amazing trees if you're ever out that way. And there are the boys drinking their hot chocolate. This one was a cozy at home. I think I stuck this envelope with some story in there and I sealed it. That has to have a reason. Sometimes my journaling is private. My thoughts are private. And so I will write it down and then I'll seal it up. So on the left, just really simple, just stacked up. I think I did this one for Studio Calico at the time. And I stamped this little bear here and then hung him right off of this die cut. It's a fun little detail. So this is a Traveler's Notebook page, and then I used a die to create these holes so I can put it in here without ruining the design. December 8th, I was still going strong. I was thinking about Windsor Farms. Windsor Farms was our favorite Christmas tree farm ever. It was decorated beautifully. Just, I don't know, something out of a storybook, I think. And it no longer exists. And so I was reminiscing about it, and this is one of my favorite photos from there. So that's why I used a December to remember. So even when I do daily December stories, it's not necessarily that on December 8th I win here. On December 8th, this is where I was at thinking of, or at mentally, if not physically. On the 10th, we did go to New York City. So that's my tree in Rockefeller Center. This is something that we do every year. This is a lot of fun. So this picture is so striking, especially with the purple in the background. You never know what lights you're going to get in the background. Every year it's different. Sometimes it's red. I kind of like this purple that year. So I decided that the photo, since it was so striking, could handle a big, huge title. So big, these are thickers, they're epoxy. Hopefully won't come flaking off. And this is from Ellie Edwards. And all of the numbers are Lora by Lora. This, I don't know where this is from, honestly. I just like that it's a city scene. And I just felt like this picture is so much that it needed something on the right that was clear and gold and pretty. I like how it's gold on one side and silver on the other. And then here is my little blurb about Rockefeller Center and that tradition. El mejor regalo, the best gift, up on the side. And this clear star. This is Felicity Jane. I loved her. Her embellishments were so great. So these are the cousins in New York City. Here's our family in front of Rockefeller Center. And then I did a fun little, these were really, really popular a couple of years ago. They probably still are. The sequin filled pockets. I love this idea. It's so cute. I don't know who started it, but it's really, really nice touch. So I just used a bunch of things that I had in my stash. The gold little octagons or hexagons are from Michaels. The stars Felicity Jane's, and the sequins probably something that I just had. This, let me see if I can bring it up. It looks like a torn notebook paper. That is a steel die. And I think a matching embossing folder. Again, from Lora by Lora. And this is a couple years old, so I'm not sure if I can link it up, but if I can, I will. And then I just did my journaling on that, and then it's exactly the same on the back. This is Paper Person Shop. I love this print. It's quaint and cute, and I love that it was purple and the tree was purple that year. So that was pretty perfect. Next, I moved on to gratitude. I always try to say something about gratitude because Christmas can be so overwhelming. New York City at Christmas time, especially the day that we visited, was packed in a way that I can't even explain. I don't think I had ever seen it this crowded ever. in my entire life, and I've been going since I was a little kid. So I just wrote about how I was trying to stay in gratitude and not get like overwhelmed by the crowds. On the right side, a piece of vellum with some simple, really simple little embellishments just down in the line. That's a design that I go back to over and over again. I like to line things up. Another one of the tree. I love the pictures from this year. Good natural smiles and perfect weather, and you can't see exactly how crowded it is or got to be that night, but it was crowded. And then this one is from Christmas morning, and I always love to take a shot at the end of the Christmas gift craziness opening of Nick surrounded by his piles of Christmas wrapping paper. Being silly there. He was so young there. I'm glad I got that shot. He would never do that today, I don't think. And then the morning in Spanish, la mañana, and just a little bit of a quote. I love that quote. One of the most glorious messes in the world is the mess created in the living room on Christmas morning. Don't clean it up too quickly. And I never did. I never did. Actually, I don't think I ever cleaned up the paper in the morning. I think my husband has done it every morning because he can't stand it after a while. Yeah. So that's just like super specific to our family, but I think it's those little stories that make these books special. And I hope that Nick remembers that. On the right side, this is a page that I made for Laura by Laura. So everything on here was from her Christmas collection that year. A lot of postage stamps, and again, very similar to the idea at the front of white on white. Those were flip up. These do not flip up. They're just tags, but I just decorated 4 tags and did lots of layering. I kind of skipped around on my dates too, because if you saw, New York City was day 10 and then I skipped to 25. When I put this book together, I probably wasn't thinking, and I glued the pages back to back and it was too late, so I've left it that way, and that's okay. That's okay because my books really don't really run chronologically anyway. So now we're back to day 11 right after New York City, and this one was about books and Christmas books specifically that I've read. So in here, I have this little book that hangs the opposite of all my big books. And in this little book is all the stories that I've read: The Christmas Bookshop, A Deal of a Lifetime, Royal Holiday, Starry Night, some of my favorite, Merry Little Meet Cute, all kinds of little fun books that I've read along the way. Very simple. They have a stamp at the top and then just a list of books, and that just hangs on this like elastic string. And that's it. This is another project that I did that year for Laura by Laura. This one is on the 15th. And it's just me planning things, staying cozy inside. It was bitterly, bitterly cold. I kind of remember this. And taking the picture and trying to set it up. It's not as casual as it looks, right? So yeah, so it's just me cozy in the kitchen. This is one of my favorite spots to hang out with. There's my kitchen tree, lots of light coming in through the windows. There's lots of mugs on this wall that you can't see, so that's why I use these mugs. This is by In a Creative Bubble, and I just bought the digital images and made this up on a black background and printed it out. Again, I probably used a ton of ink, but I like the contrast and I like how it came out, so it was worth it to do it every once in a while. And I used Epson matte presentation paper for this one. The other one that had the list of foods was done just on printer paper. And then we're getting close to the end. Here's another shot of the tree. I do this a lot, and it probably looks like the same picture over and over again. It's not, it's just the same tree with the same ornaments, so it's gonna look similar year to year. I just had fun with all the stamps and going around in a circle of this big wreath. A lot of December stories is having creative fun for me. Stories are important for sure, but I also love the using of this stuff. I love to create things. This one is supposed to say Navidad. Now, this is one of the things that happens when you don't use page protectors and you forgot to glue down your thickers. They fall, so I have to go back and find these. I still have this alphabet, so I'm sure I have the letters, but that's one of the ones I have to fix. I left it this way. I didn't fix it because I wanted to show you what happens in real life. And honestly, if you don't use page protectors or enough glue, this is what happens. So for this one, I used a sheet of stickers. So these are the strip stickers. I don't remember who made these. I don't know if this is, I'm not sure. I'll try to link it before. I don't think this is Lora by Lora though. They're in Spanish and I love all the sayings, but what I love the most about this was the colors. And I've done this before in Traveler's Notebooks, where I've used the strips and the beautiful colors just as they come. Yeah, as a background. So that's what I did. It is an entire sheet of stickers. So instead of sticking them down here and there, they were left over at the end of the season. I'm already on day 20. These are not going to get used up. What better way to use them than on this page? And then this is a shaker that I made. So this is from Ali Edwards, and the little house is from Felicity Jane. And the story is about Christmas. That's it. That's the end of that book. So I believe, oh, my die cut came out. See, I'm talking about gluing things in and I have to re-glue my own things. So that same year, I got tired of doing this project. It became kind of overwhelming, like almost too much art, too much stamping, too many things, but I still wanted to keep telling Christmas stories. And so I moved into a traveler's notebook that year. And I had this one on hand from Studio Calico. And I started with "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Again, this doesn't run chronologically, but it's just the stories that I wanted to tell from that year. Here are more pictures from the Philadelphia Zoo. So in the previous album, I had chosen that one focal point, this beautiful picture of the flamingo tree. This time I used a variety of pictures. When I look at these, it puts me right back there. And I love that. I love that I went back and chose more pictures other than that, just that one perfect shot. So there's me and the boys, and so colorful and pretty. Back to decor, I love Snoopy Christmas and everything about the Snoopy Christmas story. I have the book, I have the little decorations. These are actually in my craft room, and so that's what the story is about. It was a digital print. I don't know from who, honestly, at this point, but maybe Citrus Twist? I think so. I think so. And I printed it out on photo paper. And I like the contrast. The first thing that drew me is the little skaters because I have the Charlie Brown skating scene. And yeah, I didn't want it to be too matchy. I didn't want to do Snoopy Snoopy, but that's close enough. All right, so here is lots of words and lots of story. And how hard this Christmas was. This was not, you have like all these happy, shiny faces and all this happy, shiny stuff. But my story is about, it was difficult. This was a difficult year. But I scrapbooked it anyway. And I told the story of my family and what we had been through that year. And one day I will go back and read all of it. On the left, I did a grid. This, I believe, is a template, probably from In a Creative Bubble because I love her stuff. So is this. That's probably a 3x4 card that I just sized down into that spot. And then some favorite pictures. This, Historias de Navidad, is from Lora by Lora. This one, I love this one. Love this one. Love this one. I remember this moment. This is Nick in high school coming home from pajama day with his hat. This is when Christmas break started. So that half day that we all looked forward to back in the day, and my dog greeting him at the front door, and that is a real Nico smile. So I love that. I love that I captured that moment. He was almost out of high school here, so really happy I have that. Here, continuing with more banners, you could see that I'm still on the banner kick, and this is a canvas, printed canvas again. So the back of the banner is the canvas, and in the front I have lined up a whole bunch of little houses. Let me see if I can bring it up. You can see the houses are actually puffy stickers. And I love the texture that gives. Here are some highlights from Christmas Eve and my father being silly and the boys being silly. We come from a family of a lot of silly. Um, this one, oh, this one I love. Yeah, this was a good story. So this was a night near Christmas time that I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, came downstairs. The timers hadn't gone off on all the lights. And as I was going into the kitchen, this is what I saw. And it was so peaceful and so beautiful. And I wanted to remember that moment. I remember grabbing my camera and taking a picture really quickly. And I just sat there and had my warm milk and Cheerios. And yeah, that's just like such a small Christmas memory, not so much Christmas focus, but it brings me back to one of my favorite places during December is the kitchen. And when it's peaceful at night, I love it even better. This one is from Christmas morning. And yeah, this is all in a creative bubble. I loved what she designed this year. It was so fun. Like this is really leaning into my graphic side rather than sometimes I go really textured and dimensional. This is pretty much completely flat except for this. This is a puffy sticker. Everything else is completely flat. An enamel dot here. But I love it. I love this style of storytelling. I find it really quick. I can get this story printed and done in 15 minutes. And some years, that's just what you need to do. This one, oh, I remember this. So this was the supply chain issue year. And on Black Friday, this was a sign at Starbucks. There were no lids at all for coffee on Black Friday. And I just had to take a picture of that because I felt that that was like a moment in history, and I hope that we don't see that ever again. Um, and I called it "Tis the Season of No Hay Nada," which means the season of there is nothing. I don't know how to really translate that, but the season of we don't have it. Let's put it that way. And everywhere you went, there were shortages of one thing or another. And I just wanted to remember that little thing about Starbucks and feeling so bad for the baristas who had to tell every single person in line that here's your hot coffee and no lid, like Disney, I guess. Okay, this one, I think this was this. Oh no, this is not my last one. Almost my last one. This is Nico with his cousins at Six Flags. We went for their Christmas shows and lights and different things. I think this is the last year we went because she went off to college, and the boys got a little older and they went with their friends and did their own things. So I'm really glad that I have this memory. And then that's just a little bit about some of the things that we did. It's on vellum. And then for bullet points, I used stars, enamel stars. Let's see if I can bring it up. And this was Cocoa Daisy. This is one of the Cocoa Daisy prints that I loved that year. And this goes with my story of not having lids. There were also no Christmas trees. This is what they had at the Christmas tree farm. Look at that sorry tree. No. And that was everywhere we went. So we were so frustrated, so frustrated. In contrary to the nice smiling picture, we really were not smiling. So yeah, I told the story of No Bueno and sort of the struggle that we went through and how we finally found a tree that wasn't that great, but we were lucky to have a tree at all. And then the very last one, the parting shot, kind of how you start, how you finish the entry of our house and have yourself a merry little Christmas. At this point, between doing this book and this, I had had enough Christmas to put it away. I was done telling stories. I don't mind that there are days that there are no stories or that it's not chronological or that I didn't capture every little thing. Once I'm done creatively, I'm done creatively. And that was good enough for that year. All right, now I'm going to show you what I'm doing this year. So this year I'm going to do Dash Notebook. I'm going to do 2 projects, I think. Definitely the Dash. So the Dash comes in Spanish, it comes in English, and it comes in these cute trees. There are not a lot of these left. Probably over the 3 designs, 12, maybe. So if just so you know, if we're sold out of it, if you don't see it in the store, that was a seasonal item and I only carry them once. All right, so this one I have shown, and then I'll show you one of the first pictures that I did. So there's my calendar, and I've done 1. And I don't know if I'm going to do this daily. I know that I'm going to shoot for half. Let's do 15. Let's do 15 stories. And I'm actually starting with Christmas of 2023. And I'm going to work through that season. And if I get through 2023, I'm going to move back to 2022 and see what pictures, stories, things that I remember that I want to tell in a dash where I can put a lot of little pictures like this. Now, this one you saw in the other book, so sometimes it's going to be repetitive, but hopefully now that I've gone through my books and I've seen some of the pictures that I've already scrapbooked, I won't do that very often. And I'll try to branch out into photos that I haven't done and stories that I haven't done. I guarantee you, if I go and look at the story that I told about this, it's very different from what I wrote here because I have different memories. I have different journals. I do journal every single day. That's a private journal that I don't share because it's not creative in any way. So it's just like free writing at the end of the night in bed. But at least I have stories to go with that with Christmas from last year. And I can go back and look at that. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. This was done with the Cinch Mini. The holes line up so you can add a lot of different transparencies and things. This is from Ali Edwards from this year. I did buy her main kit and I got this, the more clean kit. I forget what was the name of it, but I love this kit too. So you're going to see a lot of that in here. So some of this is from this Ali Edwards kit. These are, I don't know where that's from, honestly. I've had these for a while. These are from Michaels, and then a little bit of stamping. This is Carrie Bradford. This is Carrie Bradford. That's Carrie Bradford. Lots of Carrie Bradford stamps as usual. And I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to There's a lot of pictures from last year that I did not scrapbook. And yeah, I'm finding that I like to live the Christmas and take the pictures and do all the things, but not necessarily tell those stories as they're happening. I think that would be a lot of pressure for me, although I love to watch people who can do it. I think it's amazing. I will dabble in it here and there when I get a day. I will throw in a present day into 2023. I don't mind doing that. I have found that that's fun creatively. So that's it. And I'm looking forward to filling this whole thing up. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then this one I'm going to do very similar to what I did for October Daily. I think I showed how I made an album out of this packaging. I'm going to do the exact same thing. This one, I don't know. I think this is going to be like my 12 days of Christmas. I think I'm going to do either like 12 quotes, 12 favorite pictures, 12 favorite memories, something with 12 and just a really enlarged picture on the left and a playground on the right. I love that concept. And that is going to be my creative play area. So let's see if I can keep up both of these. I think I will be able to. I'm going to try. I'm looking forward to it, and that's always a good sign that I will keep up with a project. All right, I think the last one I have is something that's really, really old. I saved it for the last. It's not my favorite. It's done. I'll just show you an evolution of style and how you get better and better as the years go on and you get more and more practice, right? Probably not going to have much to say. There's our Christmas card from that year. But yeah, I've been doing this project for a long time. There are no words this year. I kind of know why. There were no awards this year. This was a tough year. They have a lot of pictures from different things. Christmas tree farm. And you can see creative play here. This actually wasn't a December daily thing. This belongs to somewhere else. And I think the right side page fell apart. And so I put this in a page protector and just stuck it in this album. A lot of these pages were not placed in an album. So I was so happy to see this is such a pretty album. Ali Edwards put this album out this year. And I bought this one and the red one because every once in a while I'll find a 6x8 stray page and I'm just sticking them in here. All right, so we have my cozy spot. I had to do a new cozy spot photo. Lots of tree, lots of decor, because that's where I was at this year. I was struggling, and this was as good as it was gonna get, and that's all right. I think I like to see the evolution of this project. It's a lot of fun. One thing I wanted to address, because I'm getting a ton of questions and DMs about, is if I'm going to be creating stamps, stickers, washi, anything in other than the dash for next year. And the answer to that is no. I don't plan on that. I am definitely more of a crafter who made a notebook that wasn't on the market that I wanted to work in more than I am any kind of manufacturer or have any desire to like have a company or anything like that. I don't. Not at this season of my life. At this season of my life, I'm looking to slow down and not work. We're going to be traveling a ton this year. So I could see myself going in the direction of doing a lot of travel albums, maybe a travel class. I don't know. It's just, I'm just throwing that out there. But that's the direction my life is taking. Definitely not into like stamp designing or anything like that. I'm really appreciative of the people that are out there, small businesses, Syncopation, Carrie Bradford, Allie, all these folks who do amazing jobs with so many embellishments and stamps and all those things. So I will be buying from them. I will not be designing any of those things in 2025. All right, so that is it. Oh my gosh, I love these. My dog destroyed these. See, this is why it's good to have these pictures and these memories. These were my favorite slippers, and I think she destroyed them that year. So I'm glad that I took, I know we take all these silly pictures of our feet sometimes, but this was our old house. Nick was young when I did this. I love that I have that. I even forgot that I had those favorite ornaments. Ornaments break sometimes, so it's really great to have the photos. And we were still putting out cookies for Santa, so that's a really cool memory. All right, so there you have it. These are my projects. I am so looking forward to getting started with this project. My Dash notebooks makes things so much easier. Yeah, so I will come back and I will page through when maybe I'm like, maybe 5 or 6 days in, 5 or 6 stories in that one, and then a few stories in this one. This takes a long time because, like I said, this is going to be creative play, so they tend to be more detailed and layered, and I get to use a lot of my fun stuff. And here I tell my stories. All right. Thank you always for watching, supporting my channel, supporting my little Etsy shop. And yeah, give me a thumbs up, leave me comments, let me know what project you're tackling this holiday season. And I will see you next time.